It's funny how things work out. So, almost 7 years ago to the month was the last time I was in this lounge. This is the Cathay Pacific Lounge, Terminal 3 in Heathrow. And the reason I was here was because Audemars Piguet had invited me out to an event in Hong Kong. Turns out one of their team watched the channel and they saw it on my wrist while I was driving. Truthfully, back then, when I look back, 2017, very early days of the channel, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what the trajectory or the plan was behind it all. I just knew that I was in this very exciting place. It was the beginning of something really special. The YouTube channel was starting to gain traction, and I just knew that what I was on was a good thing because it got me excited, and I was so pumped for every day. But if someone had have asked me what I was doing, where it was going, what the plan was, I wouldn't have had an answer. And here we are, 7 years later. I'm back in the same lounge, and I'm out here because we are flying our Koenigsegg dealership, Jesko, halfway around the world to Macau for a concours taking place out there in Asia. If someone would have said that those words were leaving my mouth 7 years ago, I never in my wildest dreams would have imagined that that was happening. And just to look at the journey between then and now, never mind the fact that we've got our own Koenigsegg dealership, it's just crazy. So there's a story in there, so where isn't there? And I'll tell you about it along the way.
Good morning. Cathay Pacific Flight CX252 bound for Hong Kong is now ready for boarding to gate number 31. On behalf of your Cathay Pacific.
Do you not miss the travel life, dude? It's good.
I do, yeah.
We've been, well, when I say off, we've had a little bit of a break. Well, when I say a break, we've not seen an airport for all of 10 days. 3 weeks? No way, is it 3 weeks? Oh yeah, we had the Festival of the Speed. Koenigsegg, what are we, 31, dude? Yeah. With Koenigsegg. And then we're heading to Hong Kong for a few days to catch up with some guys out there that, funnily enough, I met on that trip in 2017. Then we fly directly to LA. We've got a week in LA, DDE boys.
The YouTube Viper's Nest.
The YouTube Viper's Nest that is
Everybody.
DDE and everyone. Then we go up to Monterey for Car Week, then we come back, and then a few weeks after that, well, that gets punctuated with Hampton Court Palace Concours. And then a few weeks after that, it's Gumball. Back in Asia. It's been a while since I've been on a Cathay Pacific flight. In fact, as I mentioned earlier, 7 years. However, one of the things that stuck in my mind was, believe it or not, the menu. So, if I recall rightly, and I haven't actually checked this yet, so let's just have a look. Honestly, the menu was so good because it was available throughout the entire flight. So you could look, see, there it is. Look, available on request throughout your flight, which means you can just order this stuff as and when you want. Imagine being able to order a beef burger anytime you want throughout your flight. So I asked on Instagram, I asked for when we go to LA. So I'm trying to find some like more niche blazers, which I know aren't the most like culturally celebrated sneaker, but trying to find ones which are a bit unique, unless you order them off Nike ID, which can take, I don't know, like up to a month. They're just hard to find. I thought, okay, I'm gonna pack super light, and then maybe once I'm out in LA, but I don't really know where to go to find things which are a bit different. So I asked the community, where do you go in LA to find like cool sneakers? So a few places came up, but the reoccurring one was Cool Kicks LA, I think it was. Cool Kicks LA, yeah. It's raining. That's got to be the most efficient customs check-in, whatever clearance you want to call it. That was straight through. That's wild. That's a good sign. We landed. It's a familiar face. I've never seen a Michelin ad that big. You can't really contextualize the size of that screen. It's absolutely colossal.
Waterfalls there.
Oh wow, yeah, they've decorated the whole side of the lift with screen. Look at that. Oh, feel that. It's gonna sound so lame, but I really should cut my hair short for just general summer stuff.
Shave your head.
I'll shave it. When I was younger, I had like short hair and like a little sort of spike going on, and it was so much easier just to live with it. I reckon we're in something like that.
I hope so.
I hope so as well. Oh, it's real authentic now. Brilliant. You go to Macau. Do you drive on the other side of the road?
Yeah.
So there's a road which is going to
There's a breach.
And it'll blend us to a different lane. This is a lane switching bridge. Okay.
You swap.
Yeah. So you swap over as you go over the border, right? So when we were in Hong Kong, you were left-hand lane, right?
Yeah.
Now we're in Macau, it's the right-hand lane, and we have to swap. And there's this like blending bridge. As you go over it, it swaps lanes. So that's just the cargo airport. The fun thing is that we are within a few miles of the Koenigsegg. So the Koenigsegg and us landed at a similar time. I've just been informed that it's clearing now, and if we time it correctly, we might arrive at a similar time to literally take delivery of the Jesko in Macau.
Should put an air tag in it.
Right, so this, we're going to go underwater now for 6 kilometers. So you can see where we go under here, and then over there is where we pop out. It is berserk. Look at that, it's just carved down to the sea. Look, we're literally in line with the sea right now, and then we're just cutting out of the earth and going underground. Wow, this is serious bit of engineering. Look, I know this camera is never going to capture the size of these hallways. It's unbelievable how big these halls are, right? I mean, most hotel corridors would be half this width at best. It's colossal. Does that give you any context as to how wide it is? You could literally drive a car. You could definitely drive a car down here. Look at this. Oh, everything's massive. I don't know whereabouts, but I think they're going to stage cars like through the hallways somewhere. You know, Kensington, or going up a runway at Supercar Fest or something, and now it's in Macau, the other side of the planet from where it's like home is. It's just quite, I don't know, it's just crazy. I just think it's amazing. Whoever's brought it in doesn't necessarily know, but that is off-roading. Like, mind the gap. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like stressing me out. I've got to get the key and drop that.
The launch of it on the 1st at 3:30, all the government officials and all the executives from the Win make a presentation, like a ribbon cutting ceremony. This will raise up. They play a video, and as you can see, you actually can see rendered. Every car that you see in this photo is somewhere on property.
Wow.
And so
serious lineup.
And so there's a corridor that's actually completely closed off to the public now that's more like a museum.
Okay.
And then in this atrium, which is called the South Atrium, they'll rotate through the show different cars, so every car will have a chance to be featured.
Okay.
Because this is a big ingress and egress on, for the Win. Last night it's really fun though, because I mean there were 30 plus security guards, because as you can imagine, the amount of people wanting to see the move-in.
Of course.
Because the cars are actually here, they allow them to be driven in.
That's amazing.
Instead of pushed.
That's amazing.
And so...
that's content gold. That's like incredible.
Yeah, no, exactly. No glasses were broken from the exhaust, but no.
Well, this will be really cool. It's the first time, obviously, that we've attended it, and finding fresh and new car events is difficult. This is something we've never seen, so it's very cool.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time. I know it was a long flight.
No, it's all good. It's not, I'm still pinching myself. Our cars here. It feels weird.
I know, right?
It's seeing it here is so strange.
It's so different. It's in the context of like the grandeur of all of it.
Amazing. I need the kill switch. This thing's so stiff. There you go. Okay, so because it's been transported with the lift up, it's sort of like transport mode. We're gonna put it down so all of our OCDs are leveled out. We could all sleep at night, because right now everyone's taking photos of this thing on full axle lift. I'm absolutely destroyed. That's what's going on here, you okay? I don't know if it's the jet lag or the reality that this car is halfway around the world, but it's still weird for me seeing this car that I'm so used to seeing. Something that's so familiar so far away. Hey man, he signed it. Yeah, of course. Let's go, man. This is cool. Nice. Where would you like it? Anywhere? Anywhere. All right, this is awesome. Thanks. That was cool. The last guy asked me if he could start the Jesko. I was like, that's a big ask, but I actually don't have the key. It's a lot better now that we've been able to open the back. So someone at the concierge had the key, so we were unable to like open the car up properly. But it's real, like for me, the whole, as Koenigsegg call it, robotized auto skin, which is where all of the doors and the front and the back automatically open. When that stuff is exploded, as it were, that for me is when a Koenigsegg is displayed as a Koenigsegg. So that's been really cool. It's going to be sat here now in various different forms, different positions, top, up, down, off, some doors open, some doors closed, in and out for the best part of a month at the Wind Palace here in Macau. So if you're watching this and you are passing through Hong Kong or Macau, be sure to come to the Wind Palace, check out this car and loads of other amazing cars which the Win have organized. It's an incredible event. The context is there's copyrighted music playing really loudly everywhere in the hotel. So in order for us to film those, we're going to go and have to speak with management. Jet black McLaren Speedtail, just 106 of these are being made worldwide, over 1,000 horsepower, central driving position, tip of the hat to the McLaren F1, very rare, very cool. Lamborghini Veneno Roadster, just 9 ever made. Naturally aspirated V12, 6.5 litre, sounds incredible. Just honoured to even have your eyeballs land on one of these in reality. 9 ever made. Right, the Win Hypercar Concours is not playing around. We've got a Pagani Huayra Roadster. I believe this is a Tempesta pack. It's got the sort of Cinque-inspired livery and roof scoop there. However, that sort of central aero stroke is very slightly different than other Tempestas I've seen. Maybe that's a custom aero sculpture, but incredibly awesome, incredibly rare. That's just joined us on a plane all the way from the USA. And then over here, we've got a right-hand drive, full carbon-bodied Senna. We're getting very early access to these. As I'm sure you've noticed, most of them, their nose lifts are up. So they all look like they're sort of off-roading, but they've all just come straight off a plane and directly here. So they're all just still getting prepped, but we're trying to find this while it's a little bit quiet because the wind's normally packed. All right, sticking with the ultra rare theme, only 19 Cyan Roadsters were made worldwide. What's really interesting about the Cyan as a platform, out with the Roadster, is that it was Lamborghini's first foray into hybrid drivetrains. So this has got a 48-volt architecture in there, and this is ultimately a test bed, which was an early tip of the hat to what the Revuelto ended up becoming. This has got a really crazy faded paint job. As I mentioned, 19, ultra rare, 6.5 litre, naturally aspirated V12 with that hybrid power, over 800 horsepower. I think it's 819 horsepower. Again, just to lay your retinas on one of these in reality is bonkers. But this design language of that Y-shaped DRL, daytime running light there, that's ultimately the design language that made it onto the next or now current generation of Lamborghini in the Revuelto and likely the successor to the Huracan. I just think it's well worth investing in like design. I really think like a proper jacket can last you a decade easy, you know, longer, you know? And I know it sounds like a great excuse to buy expensive jackets, but if you look at them more as like investment pieces that are going to last you a lifetime, it takes the sting off them being so expensive. Speaking of expensive, so these two have flown over from USA. So we've got a beautifully simple, dare I say it, carbon exposed bodied Chiron. You might not be able to see it here because it looks pretty much jet black, but that entire body is exposed carbon fiber. You can tell that it came over from the States because federal issue fenders and bumpers, etc., have to have these side reflectors and indicators on them. Also, going back to the theme of ultra rare, Lamborghini Veneno. There's a strong Lamborghini theme here. This has also joined us over from the USA. Landed today, fresh off the plane. Sculpture of it's insane, isn't it? What I like about these sort of end of run final edition Lamborghinis is there's often a lot of design cues which are tip of the hat to what's going to come next, and ultimately a lot of the design language from that, if you look at the back of that, it's not dissimilar to ultimately what the Aventador ended up being. So that's why the likes of the Cyan, Reventon, etc. are important from a sort of, I don't know, iconic and cultural status when it comes to design and history of Lamborghini, is because they ultimately were part of a design study and feasibility study that ended up becoming attributes of the actual next generation production cars. Oh yeah, just sticking on the theme of ultra rare, only 20 Reventon coupes were ever made, and 10 of those, so unsurprisingly, went to the USA. Right, so under here, there's two really seriously special cars, and I'm gonna save those for tomorrow's video. So regular followers of the channel might remember when we had the first drive in Aston Martin V12 Speedster some years ago. One of my favorite features is the double bubble roof, where you actually lift that tonneau cover and you can store your helmets like underneath in transparent covers. Super cool. So right now we're effectively getting warmed up. So these are just a few of the cars which are taking place as part of the Supercar and Hypercar actually exhibition. But we're told that as of tomorrow, they're going to be lining entire boulevards full of hypercars, all within inside the Win, which is kind of mind-blowing. I've never seen a car show quite like it. There's nothing that I'm familiar with, indoors anyway, that has the caliber of cars and putting them on show in such a unique environment. So tomorrow, when we literally cut the ribbon to open the event, we're just super proud to have brought Koenigsegg London here, brought down the Jesko, and speaking of which, we'll conclude here, and then tomorrow, when all of the cars descend and fill these carpets, it's going to be a hell of a video. Also, I'm told we might actually be able to drive cars through here, so stay tuned for that one. I know I've said this already as part of this video, but I'm still kind of pinching myself that this car's here. It's really abstract to see this thing like on a 13-hour flight from where it started from. It's fully wild. So anyone who's just tuning in to this who may not have followed the journey of the main Mr. J WW channel, we were incredibly fortunate in March this year actually to open the doors to our own Koenigsegg dealership in Kensington in London. We've actually been trading for 12 months before that point, but the actual doors of the physical premises opened recently. And the Wing got in touch and said, look, we would really love it if you would join us at this exhibition with the Jesko. So once we saw the environment it was in and the theme it was celebrating, we've had this gold dragon and gold stripes emblazoned over the car. We've got the Jesko shield down there, and it's just a sort of nice acknowledgement and tip of the hat to the event and territory we're in right now. And who knows where it'll go afterwards. We're kind of getting the bug for this international tour thing. So if you'd like the Jesko to go somewhere else, let us know in the comments below, because we're open to it.